My name is Joy Smith-Jones. I'm from the Bronx, New York. My question is, why are some of our folks in our community still willing to support Trump after so much he continues to be transparent about how he feels about our community? He has always been a racist and has never supported anything, even when he was a Democrat. And he, was in the in crowd and hanging out with Jay-Z. He's never really been someone that we should trust and get behind. But yet so many of us are still willing to support this man. And I just don't understand why, when he's clearly showing us that if he gets reelected again, we might as well be reporting to the nearest white person.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the left, particularly black liberals or black Trump deranged individuals, okay? Because I'm not sure if Charles Barkley is a liberal, right? But we got to talk about Charles Barkley first, as his Trump derangement seems to be getting worse and worse and worse, okay? He definitely has a severe case, a case that is so severe that he is now threatening violence against individuals who get caught wearing a Trump mugshot shirt. Now, this comes after Trump did a speech at the Black Conservative Federation Conference, and the mainstream liberal media, black liberals got triggered by it, and apparently Charles Barkley is one of these Trump deranged black people that apparently has an issue with how Trump is trying to reach the black community. Take a look.
And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. They do shirts.
When you heard that, what did you think? Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
No, Gail.
Charles.
Gail.
You really can't say that because, A, you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm going to just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm going to bail myself out and go celebrate. If I
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Okay, but go ahead.
Seriously.
Continue.
First of all, if I was at that
conference,
I'd have got up and walked out. That was an insult to all black people. Because he's basically just saying, and first of all, to compare black history where we've been discriminated against to his plight.
Yes.
Well, first of all, he's a billionaire. And they're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. They're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. And for him to compare... It's
still in the court system, Charles. We have to wait. It's still in the court system. But continue.
Well,
continue.
Some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. They did say that the election was stolen. Those aren't lies, Gail.
Yeah.
Those are
They
facts.
did say that. They did say that.
But to compare, I would have got up and walked out because it's not a fair comparison. He's a billionaire. He's had a great life. He's been president of the United States. To insult black people who have been discriminated against all these years, to put them in the same category, I was just offended.
So Charles Barkley is offended by that. A lot of the mainstream liberal media was offended by that. They were offended by Trump selling sneakers, even though he didn't target black people specifically, but they were offended by the idea that black people might like Trump's shoes. But yet they're not offended by Kamala Harris throwing a White House party for black people while playing Sexy Red and rap songs during this party of drinking and probably smoking at the White House.
All with your head, yeah, money talk. Oh my God, look at her butt.
This event means to me, it put everything into perspective. It shows me everything is possible. My vice president is black. What you mean I can't do it?
When I look out at this group of leaders, I know that the future of our country is bright. Our nation needs you, and I look forward to your continuing leadership. Welcome to the house party at VP.
Being here at Vice President Harris's home tonight was an absolute honor. The embodiment of black excellence in the room was overwhelming, and I'm just so honored.
coming to an event like this is just gratifying. I mean, when you really choose God and put Him first in all that you do, He will just open up many doors for you. When you seek Him first, all will be added unto you. And so I'm blessed to be a part of this event.
I am so excited to be here, like to be in the home of the first African-American female vice president of the United States means everything to me. And I'm just so excited to be here, so thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, I want you guys to understand. Trump selling a mugshot shirt, offensive. Trump selling sneakers, offensive, right? All this is supposed to be offensive to black people, but you have the Biden administration holding house parties for black students where they come and they drink while listening to Sexy Red, a degenerate rapper. That's not offensive, right? That's not pandering, okay? That's not trying to make it seem like the only way to appeal to black folks is through degeneracy, okay, and promoting these types of behaviors, which again, here's the thing, I don't have a problem with young kids having parties, right? I don't have a problem with it. My issue is that just imagine if Trump had a house party, right, and he was playing rap music while having a bunch of black folks over, right, and they're, you know, drinking and partying or whatever, okay, in the blackest way possible. What would the media be saying? They would be losing their minds. They'd be saying, oh, this is pandering, right, pandering. Okay, and they're trying to appeal to black people in a way that is offensive, right? They will be offended by it. But see, Democrats are openly allowed to do stuff like this, and there's no pushback whatsoever. But we all know what the real problem is. These people are upset, right? They're upset and they're mad at this idea that Trump is going to get a significant portion of the black vote, okay? Now, you guys know how I feel about this conversation. Every time we have this conversation, I got to give the disclaimer that before every election, it seems like there's hype about black people not voting Democrat anymore, okay? Just for election day to come, and then they end up voting for the Republican at 10%, okay? Black folks had the best economy ever. They were doing better than ever under Trump, and they rewarded him with about 10 to 13% of the vote, mainly thanks to black women, okay, who vote for Democrats at a 95% clip. Now, we did see black men start to support Trump more, and hopefully we continue to see that trend of black men moving towards Trump, because it's apparently a thing, right? It's such a thing that you have Democrat analysts coming out here and saying, hey, maybe, just maybe, Democrats should ignore black men because black men are too far gone on the Trump train to be worth trying to get their vote. Take a look.
Everybody sits and has this laser focus on black men. You've got Latino men who are working at the border who are like, hey, I don't like these immigration issues. Why is nobody talking about me? You've got Asian American men who are saying, hey, wait a minute, I don't think affirmative action has worked for me. We have this twisted focus on the wrong group of people. No matter if every single black person, and always, you always had 12, 13% of black people who end up voting for Republican anyway. If every single black man in America who voted for Trump went and voted for Joe Biden this time, it ain't going to change much.
I don't think that's true.
But a large, I'm telling you, even unless you look at a place like Georgia, right, which is a very, very small margin. But most of those black men, it's not going to end up making a difference. But if we look at Latino men and we look at Asian men, that's where the difference is. That's where the focus needs to be. We have the Democrats have to have, the Democrats have to have a pivot to different kinds of people and stop talking to folks who are 55, 60 years old who listen to what an old rapper has to say, because their vote's already decided. It's those 18, 19-year-olds who are working right now at CVS and Verizon who don't see a difference, who are the ones who are liable to either stay home or switch their vote.
Now, the internet gonna be on fire by what you just said about black men, Jason. I just want.
Yeah, so what he's saying in a nutshell is, listen, don't listen to the black men that have jobs, that have careers, that have a family, that are upstanding, law-abiding citizens, that are leaders in their homes and their communities, who care about financial opportunity, who care about the economy, who care about the well-being of the country, who care about being tough on crime. No, don't listen to those black men, right? Those black men are too far gone, okay? They're basically just Republicans, okay? Don't listen to them, okay? We don't need them, okay? We're not going to appeal to them anymore. We want to appeal to the people who are looking for a handout, right? That's essentially what he's saying. That is the takeaway there, because there are black men who are moving towards Trump, who are moving towards the Republican Party because they understand business and the importance of having a good economy, lower regulation, lower barriers to entry in certain industries where you can go in and you can create your own business. You can establish independence from the system And I think that is kind of what a lot of black men are looking for. Okay, personally for me, that's how I vote, right? This is why I'm a Republican. This is why I'm conservative, because I believe in traditional conservative values, but also from an economic perspective, I don't want to pay taxes, right? I want to pay as little taxes as possible. I don't want a bunch of unnecessary regulations that are keeping me from being an entrepreneur or taking advantage of certain opportunities. Okay, I'm just saying, I mean, I'm trying to essentially generate wealth, right? And I think a lot of black men are thinking that way. I think a lot of men are thinking that way. And that is typically why men in general tend to lean more conservative. Men are not looking for handouts the same way that women are looking for handouts. And again, that's why you have men overwhelmingly leaning more conservative and Republican. Again, so you have a lot of people on the left, black liberals, that are upset, okay, with these developments that, you know, you have a certain segment of black folks that are saying, you know what? I'm going to give Trump a try. I'm going to give the Republican Party a try. I'm leaving the Democrat Party, and they can't stand it. Just like these three individuals right here on the Native podcast, they're basically rejects from the mainstream liberal media. And you also have Andrew Gillum, who ran for governor in Florida. One of the best things Trump ever did was endorsing Ron DeSantis, helping him beat Andrew Gillum, because that guy turned out to be a bisexual crackhead. And we definitely dodged the bullet with him not winning the Florida governor election. So without further ado, let's get into this.
We've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
Angela, listen, I'm going to tell you something that's not going to be popular. We have a lot of people who are motivated and inspired to go to the polls for some really interesting reasons. There was a time in our electorate where someone who appeared to be the first real shot we had at a presidency after the many ways in which Reverend Jackson paved the way, right? Mm-hmm. But we knew that was even a long shot. Barack Obama ran on hope and change we could believe in. It wasn't substantive policy. It was the hope that America could actually finally serve us. And then there are these other folks, and we have to be really careful with, like, well, rappers don't really move the needle. There's a reason why there are surrogate operations in every campaign, from the mayor to the governor to the president. It does move the needle on some things. I am insulted by the direction in which Donald Trump has taken this thing, but I'm not going to be intellectually dishonest and say that broad stroke themes don't work to move bodies to the polls.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's what she's missing. First and foremost, she would be offended no matter what Trump says, right? Trump comes out here and talks about giving money to HBCUs, opportunity zones, the First Step Act, all the things that he did that disproportionately benefited black folks. It's not like these people gonna give him credit for it, right? And that's a majority of what he talked about at the conference. But see, what these people key in on is Trump talking about mugshots, right? In which he is basically saying, look, I'm being discriminated against. And I feel like there are people, particularly in the black community, who always, talk about being discriminated against, who can relate to that, right? Now, again, he wasn't trying to say that all black people are thugs and criminals or anything like that. But again, the reaction from the media would make you think that that's what the whole conference was about, when it wasn't. So to assume that people are voting for Trump based off a mugshot, I mean, I think these people are the ones that are insulting the intelligence of black people. I actually think that a lot of black people are voting for Trump, particularly black men, because of reasons that I stated before. Economic reasons, right? Economic opportunity. Okay, wanting to be more pro-business, wanting to be about getting their money, right? Also, you got to look at the border situation. A lot of black people found out the hard way that, hey, illegal immigration is not pro-black, right? It's not necessarily beneficial for the black community to have illegals poured into this country, because the white liberals are basically placing the illegals in black neighborhoods. So now black people have to compete with the illegal immigrants for jobs, in which the illegal immigrants are going to drive down wages because they're going to be willing to work for less. And it's going to negatively impact black folks. They're taking up resources that should and could be going to black people. So I think black people are realizing that the Democrat Party has screwed them over with a number of policies. And I think that a lot of the decisions that are being made are not being made out of emotions or campaign slogans or because of mugshots. I think it's being made because they see the writing on the wall that, hey, things were better under Trump than they are right now, right? And I think that's basically what it comes down to. But there are a group of black folks, particularly black liberal women, who don't care about reality, right? They are looking for the handout. They are looking for, Democrat solutions, and they're not going anywhere, right? This is why when they actually really talk about the black vote, they're not talking about black women. They're really just talking about black men.
Shame on him for saying that his mugshot was enough to move a base. But I think the real thing is, and this might be a whole ass TED Talk podcast that we need to do to unravel it. There is something remarkable about someone who can relate to the many challenges that we've had. It is not Donald Trump, to be super clear. But I think that it is highly worth considering, as someone who is a student of political strategy, what it means to find someone who has been othered, what it means to find someone who has had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps after they found some boots that they could actually afford, what it means to really be one of the people who was ostracized and not really allowed. You know what I mean? What does it mean to have this person who really understands the plight of a community that has been so marginalized despite our significant contribution? And I think there's language at play that he has effectively used to reach some of our folks who haven't felt heard in the process. The problem is, I need y'all to understand what gaslighting is.
Here we go with the Trump derangement, right? This is going to be peak Trump derangement.
This isn't hope and change you can believe in. This is someone who is preying on you, not praying, pouncing on you where you've been most vulnerable, playing like they understand what you're saying. Have you ever been in a relationship with a dude who has never heard you, and then all of a sudden when you about to walk out that door, the dude starts telling you everything you ever told him?
Is that not the Democrat Party? Right? That is the Democrat Party. What she's describing is the Democrat Party. I don't think she's smart enough to understand that. She's trying to attribute this to Trump, but no. Actually, this is an accurate description of how the Democrat Party treats black people, because that's essentially what they're doing. What you just saw from Kamala Harris in that House party is her realizing that, hey, we need to do some major outreach because the Negroes might leave the Democrat plantation.
They're like, when you said such and such and so, I feel you. I get it. I got you. I'm with you. And they're doing all that. And then you're like, oh, okay, he really gets it. I finally feel heard. And then you go back.
Why is Angela telling all this?
Again, this is Democrats, right? That is how Democrats treat black people, right? Trump is just Trump, right? Trump is just Trump. But that is actually how Democrats treat black people. That's the irony here.
You on some people's streets right now.
Listen, but I want we got to nail this so we get it right, so we can see the demon coming.
Yes.
That is what he's doing. And then when he gets you, boo-boo, he gonna say, actually, I am still the law and order president. Your ass going back to jail for nothing.
Yeah, we need more law and order, right? And it's not about sending people to jail for nothing. It's about locking up criminals who are actually committing crimes. A lot of whom are committing crimes in black neighborhoods, hurting black people, innocent black folks. Yeah, we need to send them to jail. You're not cleaning up any black neighborhood or any liberal city without being tough on crime, right? You have to be. It is what it is.
And when he gets you, he's going to say, I do still think Harriet's ass deserves to be on a $2 bill and not a 20. When he gets you, he is going to say, I do think you should be sharecropping and not holding shares in this corporation. When he gets you, he's going to say, actually, grab them by the vagina. Don't let them have IVF. Don't let them have an abortion. I don't care if there was rape or incest involved. And on top of that, fuck your birth control. That's what we're dealing with. He's saying all the right things, but he's doing it for all the wrong reasons. He hope your ass stays at home. He hopes you go to the polls and votes for him. He hopes you get a nigga for Trump t-shirt. And then you are boo-boo the fool. And I don't think that we're that dumb. Prove me right that we're not that dumb. I didn't cuss. I didn't got in trouble with my pastor, my mom and daddy and all that, but that was necessary.
I mean, look, again, she's talking about Trump, but that describes the Democrats. That's what Democrats do every election season. It's just so funny how she can't see that from her own side of the political aisle. right? Trump is just coming around and saying, well, I did do these things for you. I did do the First Step Act. I did do HBCU funding. Okay, I did do opportunity zones. Okay, under my economy, black unemployment was at the lowest in history at the time. Okay, you had significant increase in net worth for black households under my administration. He's just stating facts. He's just stating facts. And there's no reason to believe that a second Trump presidency will be bad for black people or that he would somehow screw over black people. But we definitely have reason to believe that when it comes to voting Democrat, because that's what they do. They promise black people the world every single time the election season comes around. And then soon as they get in office, they're never heard from, right? They're never heard from. And the irony here is that Democrats promise a bunch of crazy stuff that actually really are not going to help out black folks, like the George Floyd policing bill, which ain't going to do a damn thing to help black people. The so-called Voting Rights Act ain't going to do a damn thing to help black people. They promise black people a bunch of crazy stuff. They flirt with reparations that they know they're never going to do, right? They promise black people a bunch of crazy stuff, say Republicans are racist in order to get votes. And then as soon as they get votes, they say, we don't need to talk to you anymore, right? Just ask Ice Cube, right? Just ask Ice Cube. When Ice Cube tried to have a conversation with the Biden administration, they were too busy talking to Cardi B, right? Because they know that Cardi B ain't really going to demand anything tangible. She's not going to have a real conversation. But somebody like Ice Cube, who actually will have a real conversation, they was like, we don't really want to talk to you, right? We'll talk to you after the election. Again, that's how it works. But it's just so funny how they try to attribute this stuff to Trump when it's just simply not the case. The meltdown that they're having over Trump possibly getting, I don't know, 15%, 20% of the black vote, it's hilarious. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.